Okay. So I am live, I think, on the other platforms because I've noticed things are different, right? Raise your hand and let me know if you're on the clock app and you've noticed differences since the clock app is bad. And I'm going to be honest with you, not all of what I've noticed is bad. I've noticed some good things. Like I'm getting more followers and not just from live stream, but from my short form videos, right? So I'm getting more followers. I'm getting more engaging followers. I'm also seeing more of the people that I actually follow as well. I know y'all think that means that they plugged into the Meta servers, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. I would be hard pressed to believe that that's what happened though. It just logically and logistically, infrastructure wise, just doesn't make sense and doesn't even seem possible to do that in that time period. For the I mean there's a lot of users in the US to do that too, and just overnight. That kind of thing is usually done in phases, not all overnight. So if that's your fantasy, I'm gonna let you have that. If that's your fantasy, because I've broken it down to the very last compound, every which way I know as a former financial professional that it is highly unlikely, like less than a 5% chance actuarially that Meta has actually purchased TikTok. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So um if that's what you want to think, if that's your little red wagon, as my mama used to say, just keep on trucking, baby. Keep on pulling your little red wagon. I do think there's a lot of various kinds of psychosis happening right now. Um, that's not me talking bad on anybody. I just think yeah, I think there's a lot of PTSD and trauma. We've been through a lot this past, since 2016, honestly. But we've been through a lot, especially since like June or July. There's constantly been stuff going on, just like non-stop. Okay. So, I mean, I get it. I don't fault anybody. I'm not blaming anybody. It's just merely an observation. I think there is some psychosis going on, right? So the elephant in the room, y'all's tarot card readers and stuff lied to y'all because homeboy was installed today. He was inaugurated today. So all that yibber yabber they were telling y'all was flat lies, and I haven't seen a single one of them on this app today. And that's probably why, because they lied. They lied. They lied. Isn't that a song? I know there's a song. Would you lie to her? They're Eurythmics. There's something, a song with a lie, but there's another one about they lied to you. I can't think of who it is or even how it goes, but they lied to you. Okay, and you have to ask yourself, why did you want to believe that so bad when everything around you pointed to that just not being true? Right. And y'all were looking for, or people were, I'm gonna not say y'all because that sounds so combative, like we're tussling, but people were looking for clues in everything. Y'all were making everything be a clue. And, yeah, no, people were just literally saying what they were saying. So, that's why I do the shadow. I don't have it over here. I didn't even pin it to the card, but the shadow work journal, the miracle journal, the 369 journal, you got to do the inner work. You got to do the healing, right? And it's not just the stuff that happens to you in childhood. There's a lot of stuff that's gone down in the last 6 months alone. And there's about to be a lot more. There's about to be a lot more. Just know that, okay? So, speaking of algorithm changes, one of the things that I foresee there being some further changes. Y'all keep looking at Meta as the standard, and Meta is not the standard. Meta is not his gold bar standard. They really can't stand Marky Mark. And if you look at their dynamic, he is the most discomfortable in the presence of all of them. They kind of have emasculated him in a way over the years. And now he is playing nice out of survival and even desperation. So to be using Meta as the gold bar standard is really weird. And then when you look at the dynamic between the true president and or first lady Elania and the dude who actually was installed as president day today, it just makes more sense that if anybody got their hands on TikTok, that it would be Elania Musk, the dude that does the Yahtzee salute instead of Marky Mark. And what's really disheartening to me is I'm going to call them your 8% coaches, gurus, consultants, and that you're 8%, right? And I'm going to tell y'all about y'all's 8% coaches, gurus, and that because they are hyper focused on capitalism. I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm not getting your bag and making your money because, hey, we need, just like we need air to live, we need money to live. Okay. We really, really do. But your 8% coaches are so hyper focused on capitalism that should actually concern you. That should concern you a lot because as it goes, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world lest he lose his soul? Your 8% coach, and you know what I mean when I say 8%, as in 92 plus 8 equals 100. Your 8% coach will sell you, throw you under the bus, toss you off the bridge, not even for a dime, not even for a dollar, not even for 50 cents, not even for a quarter, not even for a dime, but for a nickel. Because this golden age they think they're about to profit from. Okay. And don't get me wrong, it's go time. It's go time. Like never has it been go time before. Don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. Typically, it's not the golden age for us. That they don't mean us. They don't include us. And when you listen to and pay attention to everything they talk about, they're not talking about us. Or they're talking about us and not them, right? So comply. She should have just complied. That applies to us, not them, right? Golden age applies to the top 1% of them, not us. Okay. So, again, on a lot of these things, I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong. So, speaking of algorithm changes, one of the top things I see happening with social media, because there's been a lot of talk about how long it took to get live access. Number one, y'all have to get rooted in reality, right? Get rooted in reality. Yes, we need to be delusional about our goals and desires, but we also need to surrender them. And y'all really are living in this Delulu land that's kind of scary. Okay. So we have to get rooted in reality. And being rooted in reality tells us that when you shut down, it's not like you just shutting down your desktop when they shut down TikTok for the night, for that night. There was a lot more involved with that, right? And it goes down in phases and it came back up in phases. And I am not defending them. I'm just telling you how it works, how it really works. Not what you want to hear, not how you want it to work, not how you feel it should work. And that is why I am telling you, that man, that right there is not real. To switch to the Meta servers would be more than one night because they would have to do it typically in phases. It would be over several weekends. And yes, even for just the United States. I know we're not talking about all of TikTok. Right? It would have to be done in phases. Especially because they preserved our accounts and our data. Right? We Everything ain't a conspiracy. A lot of it is, but everything ain't a conspiracy. And the stuff they're doing in plain sight, right in your face, the stuff that y'all think they are hiding is wild. It's just absolutely wild. Okay. For example, there's no way on God's green earth that Meta, as a publicly traded company, has acquired TikTok and it not be publicized. They have shareholders, thousands of shareholders. Matter of fact, let me go over to Yahoo Finance. And let's look up the stock price symbol for Meta. So Meta Platforms trading up $1.47 for the day at $612.77 per share. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go over here to Chat GPT. How many? And there are multiple types of stock, including common stock. So this is as of September 30th, 2024 from Meta. There were 2.52 billion shares outstanding. Now, that doesn't mean 2.5 billion shareholders. That's just how many shares they have outstanding, right? I don't know that we'll ever get a number on how many shareholders there are, but there are thousands of shareholders, right? There are mutual funds, institutions, there are individuals. There's a lot of Meta stock out there, right? And so there are a lot of Meta stockholders, right? A good chunk of that is probably held by Marky Mark and his wife Priscilla. So you got to keep that in mind. And by law, they have to notify those stockholders. And in many cases, especially for something the size of Meta acquiring TikTok, that would require a stockholder vote because it probably is going to involve the issuance of stock, which, by the way, still does not solve the issue of selling TikTok, because now the owners of TikTok would be getting stock in Meta and have ownership in Meta. So you just take it from one problem and make it another problem. I might be talking over some people's heads, but just hear me out here, right? And before it even got to a shareholder vote, it has to go through regulatory approval. So there's an international arm of the government that would have to approve it along with the FCC. It would have to be approved because of something called the Sherman Antitrust Act. Here, I'm going to say, tell me what the Sherman Antitrust Act is, as if I am a third or fifth grader, because we know about half the population is functionally illiterate. So the Sherman Antitrust Act is like a rule book for fair play in business. Imagine you're playing a game and everyone has to follow the rules so it's fun and fair for everybody. The Sherman Antitrust Act is a law that says big companies can't cheat or team up to make things unfair for smaller companies or people who buy stuff. No, for example, no teaming up unfairly. The law says businesses can't secretly agree to do things. The law says businesses can't secretly agree to do things like price fix, raising prices really high, or keeping others out of the market. No being a bully. If a company gets really big and tries to stop others from competing by using unfair tricks, the law steps in to stop them. This law helps keep prices fair and makes sure everyone has lots of choices when they buy things. So when you take the two largest and let them become one, no sound again. Did my Do you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I'm waiting. Can you hear me? Maybe the battery is dying, so I'm just going to pull the plug on this. You should be able to hear me now. Okay, so let me read the Sherman Antitrust Act again. It is like a rule book for fair play in business. Imagine you're playing a game and everyone has to follow the rules so it's fun and fair for everybody. The Sherman Antitrust Act is a law that says big companies can't cheat or team up to make things unfair for smaller companies or for people who buy stuff, consumers, right? Or users of their platform. For example, no teaming up unfairly. So I don't know about you, but I think Facebook or Meta and TikTok teaming up would really be an unfair advantage. In fact, they already have antitrust issues with because of Instagram and also WhatsApp. Okay. The law says businesses can't secretly agree to do things like raising prices really high or keeping others out of the market. And I don't know about you, but again, I think allowing Meta and TikTok to team up and become one would do that. Right. And again, that whole secretly agree, the fact that y'all think they secretly moved the TikTok servers over to Meta. And I'm not just somebody with corporate experience. I actually sold financial securities. So I had to get licenses. And one of those tests that I had to take was all about legal compliance and learning the blue sky laws and all of that. So this was my job. I had to know this stuff. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind here. Like, I'm not making this stuff up. I don't want to be wrong or right. I just want you to get the right information, the truth. Okay. And for us to learn how to think and for us to learn how to think logically and not emotionally, again, because some of y'all 8% coaches play on y'all emotions and play with y'all emotions all day, every day. But I ain't one to gossip. So, no being a bully. If a company gets really big and tries to stop others from competing, and that's kind of what would happen if you really want to admit it, if Meta were to buy TikTok, like that, it would just be a problem, right? The AI says it would be much. And here's the other thing you got to remember. I posted about this last night. You can see it on the Clock app. A video. I might have even shared it in my stories. Here's the deal. Here's the real deal, Holyfield. A merger or acquisition the size of what Meta, if Meta were to buy TikTok, that would take anywhere from, on average, 23 months. I think it would take even longer for Meta. That would take 2 to 3 years to complete. And honestly, they only have, if they are granted it, 90 days to sell TikTok. So that really knocks Meta out the box, right? It all is cumulative. Everything I've told you, it adds up. It's all cumulative, right? So I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Nobody really knows but the people involved. However, I will tell you this: if Meta had already truly acquired TikTok, we would know about it. Because y'all think they done wire transferred and cut checks and sent money. That would not happen with a publicly traded company, and we not know about it. Like, closing is the last step. It's like step 6. Closing the deal in payment and the transaction to actually affect, would take 6 steps. That's 6 steps. And we would already know that. There's no way that we would not know that because Meta is a publicly traded company. Like, what the hell is their market cap? Because if they have that many outstanding shares, market cap 1.55 trillion. 1.55 trillion is their market cap. So the market capitalization is if you took their current stock price and multiply, and this is me talking, by the way, I ain't got to look nothing up because I know my stuff. So market capitalization is if you took all of their outstanding shares and multiplied it by the current stock price, usually from the close of business the day prior, Meta's market cap is 1.55 trillion. That's a lot of moolah. That's a lot of moolah. I don't think TikTok is publicly traded. I don't know. They've got multiple owners, like various people have, and various companies have stakes in Meta. So I can't give you that data, and I'm not looking it up right now. But one side of the equation is definitely a publicly traded company, and there's no way Meta could make a purchase the size of TikTok and it not be public information. Meaning, because y'all hardcore believe the transaction has been done and the money has exchanged hands. Like, the stuff we just really want to believe these days, and we believe with our whole chest, is really wild to me. Like I said, there's a lot of psychosis, religious psychosis, political psychosis. There's a lot of, it's scary. It's really, really scary. And the scariest part is what exacerbates it is there are people online who will say anything. They're really kind of like predators because they will say anything to get y'all to engage in their content so that they can get more views and get monetized. And that's what I was talking about. And I don't think I ever said. So I think that's what's coming. If you, again, because Twitter X is the gold bar standard. X is the gold bar standard, right? So X, actually, let's see here. X is the gold bar standard. And in the last 6 to 8 months, you cannot go live on X unless you pay for their premium or whatever. And because X is the gold bar standard, if you go back and you watch Marky Mark's video and read the release on what he said about, getting rid of the fact checkers and the moderators and all of that, they're modeling themselves after X. And X, like I said, 12 months ago, they moved to you cannot live stream on their platform unless you pay for their platform each month. And I believe that is where the other platforms are going to be heading, including the Clock app. The only saving grace with the Clock app, why it might not happen there, is because of TikTok Shop. That's the only thing that might make TikTok Shop in the clear. Okay. Because TikTok Shop, they make a lot of money on TikTok Shop. And I guess the US isn't even like their strongest market. They don't really even need the US like that. So, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I swapped out mics. I can go live here again. Oh my God, look at all these notifications. Y'all want so hard. So hard to believe that this is a Meta app now. It's not. I'm so sick of the ignorance. Prove it. Come with receipts, not emotions. Hashtag psychosis. Everything that Meta owns is a matter of public record because it is a publicly traded company. You can go see all of their financials. You can read their annual report. You can sit in on investor calls. You don't even have to be an investor. Like, it's hilarious. It's laughable at this point. I said I was gonna stop using logic with y'all, but like I said, bring receipts or shut the fuck up. Bring receipts or it didn't happen. Bring receipts or it didn't happen. Because it didn't happen. And you ain't gonna get no receipt. You ain't gonna get no receipt. This is such a game of hiding one hand and showing the other. Because the answer is right there in front of everyone's face. The answer is right there. Homeboy said if it were up to him, the government would own 50% of TikTok. Last I checked, even though I know y'all call it a CIA app, the government doesn't own Meta. It is a publicly traded company. Now, I'll give you this. All them Congress people that have been buying up Meta stock, in a way, the government officials and representatives own Meta, but the government itself does not own Meta. The government itself does not own Meta. Okay. The government owning Meta is a whole different ballgame. I don't even know that I've seen where the US government has owned half of a company. I would have to look that up. I don't even know if that's possible, if there's precedent for that. I've never heard of it. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist or didn't happen, though. Okay. Okay. So let's look through these notifications. So I think that's the big thing to note. The app does feel a little different. I'm not gonna lie, it does feel a little different. I don't know that it's good or bad though. Like I said, like I have noticed seeing people that I know I'm following that I haven't seen in such a long time. It clearly is as it would most things when you turn them off, they reset, right? Like I said earlier, this is true. I was trolling, but it was true, right? So I have everything like AirPlay, right? So I like to control YouTube. That's the number one thing I watch on TV is YouTube. And so I had some I don't know, I was searching for a song that I like on YouTube on my phone, and then I send it connected to the Roku on my TV. And when I went into YouTube to do that, guess what I saw? A YouTube ad. And so I trolled. I made a video and said, "Oh my God, you will not believe it." When I went into YouTube, I saw an Instagram ad because that's one of the things y'all were saying. Because you're seeing Instagram ads on Facebook, that means that Meta bought TikTok. Like, it saddens me, honestly. It saddens me. So because you see an ad on Instagram, an Instagram ad on TikTok, that means Meta bought Instagram. Like y'all really don't even know business or understand how business works. Really more so the TikTok population than other platforms. because that just don't even make sense. So I trolled and said, yeah, when I went, and it did happen. When I went in the YouTube app, I saw an Instagram ad. So I said, oh my God, not only did they buy TikTok, they bought YouTube and Google too, because I saw the ad. Typically, when a company runs ads like that, it's because they want to increase the people who are coming and trafficking their website. That's why you run social media ads. And I have seen Instagram ads before all of this. You probably have too, but your heightened sensitivity to it because of everything that's going on. But typically, that has nothing to do with buying another company. The reason you run ads is to get traffic. Remember when I talk about PEO? You want a high converting offer and traffic. That's how you make money online. The green screen. Okay. And there's 3 types of traffic: paid, owned, and earned. Ads are paid traffic. That's why you run that's why you run ads. Y'all think y'all run ads to make sales. You really run ads at its core for traffic. And then you retarget that traffic to get the sales. Y'all, that's why y'all don't like me, and I don't care. Y'all don't like me because when I hear some stupid shit, I'm gonna talk back. But you can't talk stupid around me and get away with it. When I hear you talking stupid, I'm gonna correct you. I'm gonna talk sense. I'm gonna talk some sense to you, right? So you run ads to get traffic. You retarget that traffic, and you retarget that traffic, and you retarget that traffic, usually 3 to 4 times, and then you'll get a sale. And it's still only from a percentage of that traffic. I'm not your 8% coach. I'm a 92%er. I'm not your 8%. Do anything for $1 to make you holla. Dollar, what they say? Make you holla for $1. That's not me. I'm not an 8%er. Okay. Paid, owned, paid, earned, and owned. PEO. It don't, or it could be PO, like Edgar Allan. Paid, owned, and earned. Most graphics is PEO though. So I saw an Instagram ad on YouTube. So that means Meta not only acquired TikTok, they bought Google and YouTube too. They bought the regulators would shut that down immediately. You got the number 1 social media app acquiring the number 2 social media app, and then turning around and acquiring the number 1 search engine, which owns the number 2 search. And baby, please. Baby, please. Baby, please. Come on now, y'all. Come on now. And then damn near everybody that spoke at the inauguration, from what I hear, including the preacher, launched Bitcoins today. Y'all like getting taken. Y'all like getting taken. That is so wild. That is absolutely wild. Wild, wild, wild. Let me see if she come back and say something else stupid. Don't share what I write because that's my business, not yours. Remember, it's spiritual warfare. So in a time of spiritual warfare, y'all need to get rid. So this girl was. I don't have time to do riddles with people. I'm not doing riddles. Keep it to yourself then. That's what I do now. Like, if you say 3 plus 3 is 8, 3 plus 3 is 8. If you say 4 plus 4 is 12, 4 plus 4 is 12 for you in your world. But the answers are right there in front of your face. And I think everybody's just in some sort of denial, partly because some of y'all are in the 8% and you fucked up and you can't take it back now. And the other part is you're in the 92% and you just don't know how to deal with it. And that saddens me. Because they tell you exactly what they're going to do and then they do it. They tell you exactly what they're going to do and then they do it. I told y'all it was out for a week that Shochu said they were going to go dark on the 19th. Joe Biden told y'all it was a stunt. It was a stunt. It was a stunt. Hard stop, period. It was not a purchase. It was not switching servers. Y'all don't know the difference between clickbait and stunts and skits anymore. I see it all the time in comments. And this is more so for the Clock app crowd. There's some of it that happens on other apps though too. Y'all can't tell the difference between, right? And I'm going into things now just assuming it's a stunt or a skit. Because the ridiculousness is getting out of control, right? And trust me, I am minding my own business. I'm minding my own business. Yahtzee salutes and all. Not my problem. That's just not my problem. That my problem. That's just not my problem. So I think that's it for tonight. I was actually going to come on here and be serious and talk business, and between technical difficulties, the ridiculousness of today, I think I'm just going to give myself some grace and call it a night. Even though I'm not going to lie, I am enjoying the view right now. I really am enjoying looking at myself right now. Really, the skin and the hair and the look, it's a vibe. I'm really digging it. I'm digging it. The glow, it's the glow for me. The glow. Let me gloss these lips up one more time. I think I'm getting tired too. And I've actually been live longer than I have than what the thing shows, because I was live on another platform without sound for quite a bit. So, and this is like my second or third live today. So, whoop, down goes Frazier. It wouldn't be a Tamira live stream if I didn't drop anything. So, I am going to go. I will be back tomorrow, and I promise we will talk business and more about this whole you got to pay to play to live stream that I believe is coming. Talk to you later. Bye. Look at me trying to touch the screen.